Hi, favored ones. Welcome to Soul Talk. Our guest for today is someone really very special. I've met him in a finance seminar, recent finance seminar, because I'm brushing up on my skills. So let's all welcome Mark Joseph Fernandez. He is a CPA, an RFC, AFA, and the founder of the FinancePH Group of Companies. Recently he won, or he's the recipient of the very prestigious Golden Globe Annual Awards for Business Excellence as an outstanding Filipino achiever for 2022. Very amazing. He is also an entrepreneur. He oversees five different companies in five different industries. And as an investor, he is the top one most copied popular investor in eToro Philippines for dividend stocks. He started from scratch, really. Parang rags to riches story yata siya eh. Graduating from public high school, continued to study as a working student in college, then built the Finance PH Group of Companies. I am really, really excited for him to be here with us and to share his insights and wisdom and knowledge. So let's all welcome Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hi,
Kamusta
Michelle.
ka?
All good, all good. It's early for me because I trade in the stock market. So usually it's quite an effort really to be early because usually sometimes I trade up to like 2 p.m. 2 a.m. because 2 a.m. in the Philippines is 2 p.m. in the US time. So sometimes I trade that long. But yeah, other than that, I'm ready and fired up to answer all the questions here. And to share, of
Grabe.
course, to
Actually,
your
I'm
people.
really surprised that you said yes because, favored ones, before, meeting him, it's really just a formal setting, na seminar. So I haven't really met him personally. So I was really surprised when he said yes. And I felt that it was, the hand of God so that, he could also be here with us. But this is also the busy season, being a CPA. Right now, it's still late March, papuntang April. So, 'di ba, dami pa rin ginagawa. So, thank you so much for giving us your time. Ano,
Sure, sure.
ano
Thank you
nga
din,
ba ang
Michelle. Salamat for inviting me.
ano ang pinagkakampisihan mo ngayon other than, mga books?
Books, well, yung books hindi na masyado because our CFO, si Bell, who's also doing some of our seminars, is the one currently doing the books. So for me personally, what keeps me busy right now is, you know, recently kasi I've been been very active in copy trading. So yung copy trading, someone wants to invest in the stock market, they don't know how to invest in the stock market, and then kokopyahin nila ako, no? So personally, I find a great deal of burden in making sure na kumikita yung tao na nagka-copy sa akin. So really it keeps me busy because it's one of the businesses na mahirap i-delegate. Kasi parang I mean, I could, Michelle, I could like delegate the other businesses, but for this one, kasi it's personally me who's making the decisions. Do I have three employees in the copy trading business? Someone selects the stocks kung ano yung bibilhin. Someone, does the analysis, and I just personally does the final purchase decision or the selling decision. Pero for me it's really something that's really new because parang this has been like for 2 years lang or less than 2 years. So I personally really want to make this work. So it keeps me busy right now. And of course, I'm a dad, and I also have an upcoming baby. So my wife is 5 months pregnant. So parang and I also have a young daughter also, 'di ba? Who keeps on squeezing me in when I sleep, parang nagigising ako kasi paminsan sinisiksik niya ako or biglang umiiyak. So it really keeps me busy. And also, of course, yung businesses namin. So currently, the other four businesses, I'm not the president anymore. I'm the one who's more of doing the strategy or the corporate strategy side. So basically, the other businesses, hindi na ako yung nagmamanage ng day-to-day operations. I'm trying to build the strategy department. So the strategy department, we have people there, but aside from the strategy department, we are trying to parang finalize it or think the problem with most businesses in scaling up or in growing is they lack proper strategies. Personally, yun din yung problema ko because like I have so many ideas in mind, but I really realized na in the past no na yung mga ideas na ini-implement ko, some of them are good, some of them are bad. And then I realized na parang sa dami ng ideas ko, parang I'm just like throwing my idea, I mean, planting as an idea here, implementing idea there, ganon. So hindi ko alam, there's no proper direction as to where those ideas should really go. So I said to myself, I should really strengthen the strategy department. So that's what really keeps me busy right now, yung how to strengthen our strategy department as well. Yun.
You know, that means that the businesses has really evolved for you to be looking at it from a higher point of view. Kasi for new entrants na entrepreneur, you're busy pa sa mga operations, sa mga nitty-gritty, di ba? Pero as the business grows, you need structure, you need strategy. So, nandun ka na.
Correct.
Ang galing
Yep.
nun.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and you're also busy rin sa eToro. Amazing that you have 3 people who help you in
Yeah.
ano.
Yeah, hindi kaya eh. Because like when I started doing the eToro thing, it was really more of a hobby. And then eToro contacted me and said I could be a popular investor. Someone could copy me. So I applied to become a popular investor. And then luckily I was approved. And then ngayon din, actually, I'm trying to study for the um, certified securities score something, which is I'm gonna take it. It's a UK based certification because parang they're trying to upgrade the popular investors. Kailangan certified ka in UK or something. Parang ganun. So it's really, it's really, that's really capturing most of my attention right now, yung eToro. But aside from that, I try not to lose my track in really building the strategy department. We're trying to upskill even our employees to really learn how to do the flow charts, to, we're trying to help to ask everyone to really study the flow chart, how to do a flow chart. We're asking them to make flow charts. We're trying to really formalize the business, like so that if someone leaves, the flow charts are still there. We know how it works. We know how to improve the processes, ganon. And like even yung mga strategic management, like yung SWOT analysis, we're trying to formalize that process also. We're creating templates, so I think businesses have an evolution. I mean, businesses start small, they are small entities, and then they eventually grow up to become medium sized. And then, once you want to, from the medium size, you want to grow to become bigger. Like me personally, my vision is like to, at first, of course, to make all my employees stockholders of the FinancePH Group of Companies. So I said, before you become stockholders, everything should be formalized like a real corporation. And for me, a corporation should, I think the real strength of a corporation is in gathering capital and using that capital in a proper way. But of course, how do you use the capital in a proper way if personally wala kayong strategy to actually properly use that capital? Because I don't want to be gathering capital from my employees first before externally. I want to be gathering capital from them, and then eventually yung capital na na-deploy is not properly used kasi walang proper strategy as well as a proper accounting system. Kasi hindi pwedeng nangingi ka ng capital from other people and then there's no proper accounting system to take into account, of course, the net income and the dividends that need to be paid to the investor. So it's really something that we are trying to do right now. It's really taking up much of my time, but personally, it's exciting kasi it's something new to me. Kasi for several years, I've been doing the operations, but now parang hindi na. So it's exciting then.
Level up ka na rin. Pero
Yeah.
kasi you mentioned that you do a lot of things nga, di ba? Not just the strategizing, but also eToro and family pa, di ba? Where do you get your energy in, doing all these things?
Uh, it's actually sometimes I just feel na there should be times that you should parang be mindful or parang some sort of have those times where in the morning where you just parang stare blankly in sometimes I get that from like sometimes when I go to when I take a bath, I take like an hour in taking a bath. You know why? Because sometimes I just stare blankly in the wall or parang sometimes those some ideas actually flow when I'm all alone. Eh. So parang, I think those energy that we get comes from having those me time, personal time where you can just parang gather up your thoughts. And also I go to the gym at least once every 2 days. So personally it's something that energizes me as well. So, and of course, syempre, when you have kids, it's a common misconception na pag may anak ka, parang you get drained. Yeah, it's quite draining actually to have kids. Pero, but when you see them kasi, like when you see them, when you see them smile, happy, being jolly, parang it also yung energy nila na nalilipat din sa'yo eh. Though sometimes talaga you really need energy kasi like my daughter, she likes to be thrown up in the air. Parang ganun, she wants to, parang,
Innocent,
she
no?
enjoys those stuff eh. Pero parang nauubos yung physical energy mo. Pero I don't think energy is a the physical energy. I think energy comes from your spirit personally. I think even if you're physically drained, but your spirit is not drained, I think there's still energy to that, you know. So yun, I think, just having some me time, going to the gym also as well, eating the right food, um, you know, I think that's where you should get your energy. Yeah.
Tama naman yung mga sagot mo eh. It all makes sense. And, one thing, of course, given na yung exercise and eating the right food, tapos yung makuha mo yung burst of joy ng mga anak mo, di ba? Nakakahawa naman kasi talaga, very contagious yung positive energy. And the one thing that I like is nakakakuha ka ng ideas sa shower. Everyone
Yeah.
does, everyone has that. You just have to be aware of it. Kasi ang water, nakaka-cleanse. And when you're
Oh, yeah.
cleansed, dun pumapasok yung, syempre, maaalis yung mga nega, di ba? Yung mga ano. So, dun ka rin binibigyan ng ideas ng mga angels, ng spirit, ng divine. So, mas marami talagang, nagpo-form. So, minsan,
Oh.
kahit ako nasa shower, bigla na lang matatawa kasi meron message na dumating. So, ay, ito lang pala yun. Ganyan lang nakuha while in the shower. So, I can relate to you. That's amazing that you're aware of that and you're maximizing the time sa shower. Yun, pero amazing talaga yun. So given that you have all these, you've mentioned that you're busy now with the strategizing, 'di ba? And the eToro. What are the changes that the past year has brought you? Or let's say the pandemic, kasi ang laki ng impact ng pandemic to everyone eh. But in your case, what's the major changes that you have experienced that you love?
That you love. Best.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I thought what I didn't love about the pandemic.
Di naman, we'll
Yeah.
stick to the positive
The
side.
positive side, okay, yeah. Well, the pandemic has brought about major changes in the businesses that I handle. Um, the one of our business, ITOS, it's an insurance agency or insurance brokerage, which is actually being managed by my wife. It's my wife's pet business. Um, that business has grown much more during the pandemic than pre-pandemic. And we have actually during those periods, ang dami din naming mga pivot na ginawa in terms of strategy. So parang ang daming major changes or shifts na ginawa in during the pandemic for that business unit. Um, the seminar business actually, FinancePH seminars, also brought about changes. Some good and some bad. No, of course, personally, I like to do the seminars on a face-to-face basis. Kasi parang that way I could see my attendees if they are
Personalize eh, 'di
actually
ba?
listening. Diba? Sometimes I don't even know if they're listening to me when I give a seminar in online. Parang iniisip ko, nag-aano ba to sila? Nakikinig ba to sila? Kasi naka-off yung camera eh. So that's why I just ask for questions and let them type in Zoom. But, personally, the positive side of it is I didn't know that ang dami palang mga tao who's really hungry for learning outside of Metro Manila. Kasi when the pandemic came, it forced my family to actually go back in Dumaguete, where I was actually raised. No, I'm from Dumaguete. Though I was born in Cebu, my parents transferred to Dumaguete, and I was ever since elementary, high school, college. I've been in Dumaguete na, and my wife. at first was adamant in really transferring to Dumaguete, but she enjoys Dumaguete more now, Metro Manila. And I don't think we're coming back to Manila for the time being. So parang we really enjoyed Dumaguete in a sense that there's beaches nearby, like halos every week naliligo kami in a beach or in a pool or in a hot spring ganyan. So it's something that the pandemic has been doing positive things in our life. Actually, I realized I might have manifested this situation in my life because I remember when I was young, I in my early years, no, at working, there was a book that I read. I think it was like 10 things that millionaires do, ganun something. And one of it was like grow where you are planted. It's parang sabi ko sabi ko I was planted in Dumaguete. Sabi ko, but I'm here in Metro Manila. What does this book tell me? But over the years, I've always been questioning parang grow where you're planted, grow where you're planted. So I've always been questioning myself, ano ba yung ibig sabihin nito? What does grow where you're planted mean? And then I realized, oh nga pala, kaya pa siguro we are thriving in this pandemic in Dumaguete. Maybe it's because, you know, wherever you're planted, you can actually thrive, no matter how small or how low the minimum wages are in Dumaguete. I think where you are planted, personally, where you are born, it says in the book that where you were born isn't a parang it's not where you were born. It's not a mystery, or it's not a parang coincidence where you were born, or it's really there's some reason why you were born in that city. And so parang it somehow resonates to me that maybe the reason why I'm born in Dumaguete is maybe we should be staying here and doing our business here and growing here. So yan, the pandemic has brought some good things, but some bad as well. But overall, mas maraming good kaysa bad.
That's beautiful that you're able to tap more Filipinos who are hungry for knowledge. Ang galing nga eh. I really, really find that amazing. Kasi syempre yung akin naman, my customers are my students eh, di ba? So hindi naman ganun karami. But then, it's different when you're reaching so many Filipinos, not just in the country pa nga eh. Yung iba coming from abroad pa.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
really
growing
wonderful.
market actually.
It seems like you really are being, directed in this path. And you're living that purpose. That's beautiful.
Thank you,
Ito.
thank you.
Um, so those were the changes, diba? The great changes that you really like. What are the lessons naman that you've learned that, has somehow shaped you to be the person you are right now? Kahit
Okay.
yung mga most recent lessons. Kasi
Most
syempre
recent
malaking
lesson.
impact nun eh, di ba?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, one of my other businesses yung sa transpo. We used to have more than 20 plus units actually of combined Grab and taxi. And those units before they were really doing well pre-pandemic. And then when pandemic came, parang kumonte yung units, and my enthusiasm for that business unit actually is slowly dying or waning. No, but really that industry, the transport industry, I think really needs a lot of overhaul and needs a lot of help from the government. Kasi parang um I realized siguro one thing that I realized during the pandemic is we need to make sure that um the your business is future ready. No, when you say future ready, there in Harvard there are actually 7 areas that signifies that your business is future ready. Um, I can't memorize them all, but probably I could pick some of them. No, um, one of it is, of course, fundamentally your cash flows, your business should be doing well in terms of cash position. Second is uh, your business should have minimal debt, minimal to low debt. Third is there should be initiatives in place for research and development, meaning you should be spending on projects that have a 51% chance of being successful. Kasi most of us invest in projects or initiatives that are 80% going to be successful, 'di ba? Pero parang sinasabi doon sa Harvard article na 'yon na parang you need to invest in projects that are actually um, going to be a little debatable by some people in the company, but you have to make some sort of investments in those some sort of risky projects, but of course, properly managed yung risk dapat, hindi yung parang tatalon ka lang immediately on those risks. And sabi din doon, employee diversity is important. Actually, yung employee diversity has been good. Pandemic has actually improved our employee diversity. There's this one company that I have. It's called Etosoft. It's a software company. We're actually developing a time tracking software, wherein Etosoft, the heart of Etosoft, actually, it started during the pandemic. The heart of Etosoft is really trying to help small and medium businesses to really thrive in a work from home environment. So we're developing software, and our flagship software, yung Time In Pro, it actually allows people to have employees even wherever they are in the Philippines. So for example, I have employees in Davao, I have employees in Mindanao, I have employees in Iloilo, in Cebu, I have in Pampanga, and so it creates diversity. No, in there are different ideas being thrown. I have employees from Ilocos, ganun. It creates some sort of a meaningful exchange of ideas because there's diversity in the company, and I think it's one of the things that are important. Actually, hindi lang din dapat, even the management team that we have, hindi puro lalaki. We actually have women also in the management team, kasi diversity, I think, is really important. Kailangan yung mga ideas, and which brings to the other part also na sinasabi ng Harvard, which is culture. Culture should be, and the culture of the company should be an open-minded culture. Actually, there are 7. I can't memorize them all. Pero personally, I think if there's anything that I could have learned from the past, para hindi medyo masakit yung pandemic for some of the business units, it could have been that I could have siguro been more forward thinking. I could have also invested more on research and development, and I could have been more siguro there are some investments that we did na kung siguro pinunuha I put it I placed more capital on it, mas siguro nag-boom yung mga investments na yon. But siguro dahil medyo takot ako in funding those initiatives kasi hindi ko alam kung magiging successful or not, which slowed the growth of those initiatives. Na parang sabi ko, kung had it been na talagang binuhusan namin nung parang capital or investments yung initiative na yon, siguro mas mabilis natapos yung mga initiatives na yon, and it could have siguro created more revenue for us so we can further expand the company. So sayang, yun yung lessons na sabi ko, kulang at the end of the day, kulang kami in terms of strategy. Siguro that's why I'm trying to double up my investments in creating the strategy department. Yun.
That's why. So that's why parang right now you're really pouring your time and energy in strategizing because that's what you saw.
Correct. Yeah.
That's a very, very good realization. Kasi I also noticed that not a lot of Filipinos are really forward-thinking or long-term thinking. Parang
Correct.
madalas na sa short term or medium term, minsan less than 5 years, ganyan. Pero wala talaga yung long term, yung may succession, yung sustainability,
Correct.
wala pa doon. So,
Yeah, I even
it's
think yung government mismo should really invest in a long-term strategy for the business. Like, I think government should be treated like a business unit. Like, it's like a business entity. Dapat yung treatment na parang meron din silang long-term strategy in place na regardless of who's in that parang position, who's the president, there's really something that you're gonna follow. Parang, I think ganun din dapat. Mm.
no, you're not the first person to say those things. Some of my professors in PhD are also saying those. So parang okay ka rin. You're practicing in the industry and yet you're really interested in studying talaga. You're somehow a researcher rin, but practical side. I love it when I meet people who can combine yung mga inaral nila sa talagang ginagawa nila sa trabaho. So that's a gift. I seriously see that as a gift because not everyone has that.
Okay, thank you.
Ito, yung kasi you're very goal oriented. You wouldn't have reached this status of life if you don't have goals. And it's a sad thing that a lot of Filipinos feel that they don't deserve to have goals or yung parang wala lang. What can you share so that you could also motivate and inspire people to achieve goals, to have goals, and that could also lead to happiness, to peace in whatever state of life that they have.
I think I attribute my success on my early years back in college. You know, I was a working student. And back in college, I was working in a library for 4 years, no. And sometimes, you know, when you're in the library, you stumble upon books, no. I think my first aha moment came when I read a book from Brian Tracy about personal or self development, and parang that book has changed my outlook ever since. And from the time I graduated, I've really been into trying to create goals. In fact, I really invested in trainings and seminars both here and abroad to just really parang improve myself. Parang um there are some seminars that I attended na parang if you look at it, it's quite weird. I don't know if you're familiar with yung mga fire walk boot camp na wherein you parang there's this fire or charcoal in front of you, and then you try to prep up your spirituality and your spirit and then your mind, and then you just walk in the charcoal, and then you don't get bruised actually, even if the charcoal is really hot. So I attend those things actually. So personally, I think um most of us thinks most or attribute happiness or success with material things that we have. Personally, I don't think material things will make a person successful. I think having a growth mindset will actually make you more happy and at peace. I find happiness and peace when, like, I read a good book, or when I'm at the gym, I listen to an audiobook. That's where I actually find peace and happiness. So I think if I think it's really about trying to frame your mind on what makes you happy, and trying to attribute those good things, or yung things that will improve or grow yourself, with the things that will make you happy, and those things that will hinder your growth or stop your growth, you attribute that with negative emotions. I think that, in a sense, would some sort of reduce yung self-sabotage. I see most successful people who's about to be more successful, they engage in things that actually cause self-sabotage. Um, I think it's something naman na, even personally, I sometimes find myself at a crossroad. Sometimes I want to do this and do that, and then I realize if I do that, it's gonna destroy all the hard work that I've actually laid down for the past few years. So, it's really hard actually to make those kinds of decisions when sometimes nakita mo parang may short-term gain, or parang you'll be happy, ganon. But then, on the long-term side, hindi. So, kami actually, me and my wife, we have this practice, like, we have this spreadsheet where we actually monitor our net worth. So we have a goal, like, this month, our net worth, or not this month actually, this year, it's on a yearly basis, kasi
Yeah.
kung monthly baka sobrang frequent. Pero actually, once a month ina-update namin. So I have a
Oo.
spreadsheet, Google Sheets actually. My sheet, it's a shared Google Sheet. So pag nag-input yung wife ko, nakikita ko din. Nag-input ako, nakikita niya din. So we are actually very transparent on our finances. Alam niya kung magkano yung pera ko sa bank, alam kung magkano yung pera niya. And so we have this parang like age ganito, ganito na yung net worth namin. Age ganito, ganito na yung net worth namin. So we have this parang Google Sheets ng net worth goal namin. And by actually creating that net worth goal, it some sort of places us in a position na hindi kami kailangan na maggumastos sa mga bagay na hindi naman kailangang paggastusan. So, yun, I think having a goal, I think peace comes with clarity, no? And peace and happiness comes with clarity, and clarity sometimes comes with having a goal and, being forward thinking. So that's my answer to that question.
I can resonate with that. And it's amazing that your partnership with your wife is, it's something to look up to. Kasi not all couples have that kind of, yung tandem or yung, what do you call this? That kind of parang partnership. Sorry for the lack of word. But, I really admire that. And thank you for sharing that, ha? Kasi that's also important for those who have partners, at least man lang, di ba? Transparency and openness so that your goals are really met. If not met, at least, you're on the same page.
Correct.
Open communication, di ba? But thank you so much, Mark, for being with us right now and sharing all these things. I love all your answers, actually.
Thank you,
And
then.
I
It's really
really
a pleasure,
enjoyed
actually.
I
Pleasure.
enjoyed this conversation and hearing you speak. Siyempre 'di ba 'pag nasa seminar, iba yung talagang knowledge and information, eh, but this time it's insights na rin pumapasok. So I really enjoyed this. Thank you so
Thank you
much
then,
for
Michelle,
your time.
actually. Thank you then. Because like when I was scrolling through your FB group, and what you do, parang, I strongly believe in the same advocacy as you, na parang success, financial success or financial gain, it really starts also with being spiritual. Being, I think it goes hand in hand, eh. Parang you cannot be successful, at least on the financial side, if you're not spiritual. Kasi parang, I don't think naman kasi that success is just being more on the financial side. Don't think that way. Pero on the financial side, I don't think you can be successful without being spiritual. With that, I think, you're actually doing great, Michelle. Thank you also for what you're doing and for sharing kasi kanina you were sharing me before the recording kung ano yung ginagawa mo. So I admire you actually for that as well, Michelle.
Medyo iba lang kasi ikaw inuna mo talaga yung mga finance. Ako parang, okay, sige, una yung spirituality. Tapos, then I realized, oh my gosh, finance, career, it's all part of spirituality, which I wasn't able to see when I was younger. So it was only lang, parang mid-30s when I finally realized na, oh my gosh, parang everything is all spirituality. Why am I just, focusing on one aspect of spirituality when there's so many things that I should be aiming for and that I want to grow. So hindi lang sa sarili ko. And now that I'm, really embracing the teaching part, I also want to share that. So thank you for that. Somehow you were touched by what it is that I'm trying to spread. So I am really grateful and thankful for this time. So for the favored ones, I hope that, this conversation has really helped you. Oh, Mark, why not, invite them rin to your seminars? Kasi ang daming upcoming eh, di ba?
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle, for the opportunity. I'd like to invite everyone to join our upcoming seminars. You can go to seminarsph.com. We are actually doing some new seminars. I have this new seminar. It's called Financial IQ 101, where I share my path from my growth path. So how I started from, where I started, and all those stuff. So Financial IQ 101. If you can please join. And also yung other upcoming seminars, we have new seminars coming. So thank you, Michelle, for that.
Oh, I personally love his seminars kasi talagang nai-hit niya different segments of the market, different financial needs, which like wow, it really must took up a lot of time to really build all these line up. But thank you. For the favored ones, for those who are watching live or on the replay, remember that you're highly favored and truly blessed, and let's all be, living this abundant and prosperous life because this is the life that God wants us to have. And before I end, I'm opening up more slots for intuitive counseling or pastoral counseling. So please send me a message if you want to schedule an appointment. So that's it, everyone. God bless. Thank you so much, Mark. And thank you, everyone, for watching us.